What's going on, everyone? Nemi here, and I have just completed the impossible. For any of you unaware, I spent the last 3 days trying to come up with an easily obtainable team for Weapon Trial 2. There's already a decent clear for Trial 1, so I wanted to see what I could do for everyone that didn't have, Gloria, Inanna, etc. And just right now, after all this sweat and tears, I am proud to present to you the Rawiyeh Hypercarry Maitha Solo Healing Machine Weapon Trial 2 team. Bit of a mouthful, eh? Anyway, before I show you the replay, I just want to clarify that everything in this team is extremely easy to get, with most of the gear being the free stuff you'll get from the beginner events. There is some RNG involved. However, let's talk about that later. Okay, so let's talk about the team. We have Outlaw Guard, Rawiyeh, Knighted Guard, Papal Guard, and Maitha. Now, this is kind of a Protect the Queen comp. Let's jump into the replay. I'm going to only talk about the things that are super important so that you can clear this weapon trial. For tactics, the one we'll be using for this run are March Command and Flag of Convallaria. I'm pretty sure you have to upgrade this one to level 3, as you may not have the DPS you need. Possibly, I'm not too sure. Otherwise, I don't think you need to upgrade this one, but just keep in mind that I did have both upgraded for this clear. Okay, I'm going to stop the video right here because the first turn is quite important. On the first turn, we're going to use the March Command probably after Maitha. It doesn't really matter too much. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure everyone attacks. To make the run a lot more easier, you're looking for a run where the Outlaw Guard lands defense break into Maitha critting on her skills. So pretty much just follow this setup, and then everything after this will play through. Now, here is the second most important part of this setup. You'll see that we've put down the flag. You need to put the flag up at exactly this point, because this is going to allow your Papal Guard to get both his double shield and invulnerability up so that he doesn't take any damage from the boss. The other reason you want to have this here is because you're actually refreshing and giving energy to Maitha, who's pretty much going to have to solo heal the rest of our team. Honestly, this is literally the rest of the strategy. If you do it like this, you're going to get the exact same result. So good luck with your own teams.
나한테 맡겨. 정신 차려. 몸풀기 끝. 봐라.
아직 버틸 수 있어.
나한테 맡겨. 좋을 대로.
마이타는 좀 피곤할 뿐이야.
야, 고맙다. 정신 차려. 와라! 와라!
마이타가 할게.
야, 고맙다. 나한테 맡겨. 몸풀기 끝. 차!
아직 버틸 수 있어. 네,
나한테 맡겨.
마이타는 좀 피곤할 뿐이야.
야, 고맙다. 나한테 맡겨. 몸풀기 끝. 와라! 와라!
Let's talk about Rawiyah. Rawiyeh. I'm not too sure what the pronunciation is anyway. So we had to level her up to 45 because we really needed to get her rank 9 skill. As you can see here, we ended up getting Fatal Attack. We also have her Aura. We also have Screw Off, Another Pint, and Co-Attack. But once we set up the skills, the ones you actually needed were Co-Attack, Another Pint, Gale Breach, and Screw Off with her Fatal Attack basic attack. Her weapon was her signature weapon. The Hourglass was given from, I think, the Cole event. And we ended up using a crit tarot because she really does need to crit as it increases the damage output quite significantly. In case you didn't know, crit is a direct multiplier to the damage. Every crit will increase the damage output by 30%. I'm not too sure how crit damage weighs into this, but crit itself is a 30% damage increase. One other really important thing with Rawiyah was that we had to go and get her 4-star trait. Now, this is all free. To get this, you ended up having to do Voyage Memento. I think it was one of the challenge quests up to here. Yeah. For Challenger Quest number 11, you need to complete this to get the 20 extra shards to take her to trait level 4. And you need to complete these just to get that, okay? Okay, the next character is Knighted Guard. He is a rare character, so he's quite easy to obtain. We had to power him up to level 45. We took him up to rank 8, and these were the skills that we took. This is the most important skill for this clear. If you do not have this clear, you're not going to get the damage. Honestly, this skill didn't really matter. This guy doesn't really output too much, but you do need this skill for sure. So, Crushing Bash, Strength Activation, and Knight's Glory. This is also a super important skill. Pretty much whenever you're getting into the cycle where Rawiyah runs across and he's in the center, you need to use this on her so that you can get your maximum damage output. The only other skill we had was this offensive stance. The next thing we had to do for this character was we ended up equipping just the free Newborn Blade. Whoops. And we also ended up just using, you can use any of these armors. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I just used this one because I'd already taken it to 50. And then this is really, really, really important. He has to be on Gibbous Moon. Because we're using Maitha as a healer, we need enough sustain, and this is how we can get it. You may need to get a couple lines of P defense in there. So try to get a couple of these and reroll them as much as you can. We did end up getting this guy's traits to 5-star. I don't think this mattered with the clear. In all honesty, you could take the rank up to 9 and this guy could be 1 or 2-star and I think it would just be fine. He doesn't really do any damage, so it's not super important. Now, Outlaw Guard, he is important. He does do some decent damage. We ended up taking him to level 45. He was rank 9. The skills we had on him were Weapon Eroder, but we're not using that for this content. We have Rage, we have Intimidate, and we have Rupture Armor. Now, we have to take the attack down, otherwise our tanks will die. We need the defense break to increase our damage, and we need this rage skill, as this is actually going to give us more consistent damage than taking the skill over here. For his gear, we ended up using this axe here. If you don't have this axe, honestly, I feel like most of the other legendary axes are going to work. If you have to, this axe is actually perfectly fine. He is in the healthy state for most of the game, so he is going to get a decent amount of damage output from this weapon too. For his armor, we ended up using the True Lens, and once again, you have to use Gibbous Moon on him as well, otherwise he will die. There's no reason to get more damage, they actually do enough. Because these are common characters, they are quite easy to max out, so if you have done a decent amount of summons, you will definitely have him at 5 stars. Maitha doesn't really need too much investment, as she literally is just healing. The whole time, she is just healing, she never hits, she never attacks, she is just a healer. We had her at level 32, we had her at rank 7. Now, something that is super important here is you need to take the battle flag of Convallaria, you need to take the endurance activation, you need to take Come On Everybody, and this skill is also super important for surviving the first hit. Now, the reason why you have to take the flag is because with Rawiyah, this passive here does not stack, but this one does. What we're trying to do is get as much attack percent onto our Rawiyah so she can carry the whole team through this weapon trial. Now for gear, we had the ceremonial knife, which does absolutely nothing for her, by the way. We did have the coexist armor, which helped reduce some of the damage. Now this is super duper important. You want to put a guidance of the world on her, because this is going to allow us to become an energy battery, so that we can pretty much just chuck out our heal like every second turn. One thing I wanted to mention about Maitha is if for some reason you were able to get her to 4 stars, I couldn't find a way. She actually becomes way, way better. She actually can heal 2 allies with the lowest HP, which is going to make this runs way cleaner. So if you do have this effect unlocked, use it. The last character is Papal Guard. We ended up pushing him to level 45, rank 8. We could have taken him to 9 if we really needed. The skills you need to take are invulnerable, defense ranged attack, heavy armor, and defensive stance. Honestly, I don't know if you can change any of these, but this one is a must, and I think this one is a must too. Now for gear, we ended up using the dueling dagger to increase the physical defense. We also used the unique coat. And then once again, this guy also has to use the guidance of the world. This is super, super, super important to ensure that, one, they have the energy they need to cast their skills, and 2, they're not actually doing anything else, so might as well just put something like this on them. There's one more really, really, really important thing you need to take note of if you want to build this team, and that is your talents. So we had to make sure that pretty much everything is gold, so you've maxed out all your silvers. The next thing is we're using defenders and 1 berserker in this clear. So what we decided to do was push the attack quite high for the berserker tree, and you need to try to get as much of the TP points as you can. In the defender's path, you're looking for TP points, you're looking for attack, and you're looking for physical defense. Both of the defenders that do some damage in this team setup, they have a skill that converts their physical defense into attack, so getting defense and attack is actually quite fantastic. We could have definitely pushed this a little bit further if we were lacking damage, but we didn't need to. Now, there is a very small adjustment you can make to make this team even better. Unfortunately, this account has not received a single one, but disaster bottles are insane for boosting Rawiyeh's damage. If you didn't really know, her Gale Breach skill, when it converts into Tropical Cyclone, it actually does damage that increases off of the debuffs on the enemy. Right here, Tropical Cyclone. And what this does is, once again, it's a direct multiplier to damage. This is going to increase your damage output quite significantly. If you do have any disaster bottles on your account, I probably recommend chucking them on the Knighted Guard and maybe Maitha, just to ensure that you can get even more damage out for your teams. If you hadn't already checked it out, the inspiration for this video was my testing on vulnerability damage. I recently did a video about this. I'm going to put a link just somewhere here on the screen. And what this was looking at was how good vulnerability damage is versus, say, something like defense break or attack buff. And what I found was the stronger we get, the more powerful vulnerability is. I wanted to see if we could implement this quite early on, and honestly, I was surprised that this even worked out. And well, here's the proof, right? So if you do want to go try this team out, go at it. It's very, very simple to build. I'm going to also start working on a team for Weapon Trial 3 that's quite easily obtainable for anyone that wants to build that one too. This video was so much fun. The 3 days of hell and torture were definitely worth it when I finally managed to come up with a way to actually make this work. If you did like this video and you want to get more content in the future, remember to like and subscribe. Peace out.